And so I'm going to invite Paul East to the virtual stage here. Paul is the Director of Marketing and Client Services at the Right Book Company. And Paul, I think I saw you on a little bit earlier. I'm going to invite you to...
I'm here.
Hi, Paul. There you are.
Hi, everyone. I officially apologise for my late arrival. I had some issues getting in, but yes, it's a real pleasure to be here, kind of stepping in at the last minute to ask Claire some questions about the book and motivation behind it. It's been such a joy working with Claire on this. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be here. So Claire, just a few questions, if that's all right. We'll start off. I need to thank someone else for writing the questions for me. I don't know if that person is here, but thank you.
Sue.
They're fab questions. Thank you. Sue, is it? Yeah. Thank you, Sue. So Claire, you did a lot of research into all the different shifts that are in the book. In addition, to all of your own experience, past experience. And was there a story behind a particular shift that's in the book that really resonated with you whilst you were writing about it?
Yeah. So one of the stories is about my Sunday school experiences. And you might think, really? What? She got something from Sunday school that applies to coaching? Well, it needs to be unlearned for coaching. So the shift is going from more is more to less is more. And here's how I kind of learned that lesson. Or here's how I got into the more is more, how that mindset got instilled in me was at Sunday school when we were set an Easter project, and this is one of the things you'll read in the book. Every Easter we had a project to write about one of the stories from the Bible, and I loved this time of year because it meant that my creativity could really come to the fore, and these projects I would pictures to go with the writing. So I went more for the pictures than the writing at this point. So just imagine little fluffy lambs made out of cotton wool, stuck on the paper, and that kind of thing. And more was always more, and got me the rewards, the praise, and every year I was trying to outdo myself with this more is more. But actually what I learned with coaching is that I needed to drop that mindset, because in fact less is more. And although some coaches sometimes say, well, I didn't do anything, I was just there as a sounding board, actually that less is more can be really, really useful, so that they can be saying the stuff out loud that they need to say, rather than us leading or inserting questions that may or may not be needed, because as Belinda said, that silence can often be really, really powerful to get them to say more themselves.
Brilliant.
That's one of my stories. You
can never have too many fluffy lambs, right?
No.
I think. Yeah. Your book, the subtitle of your book, after quite a lot of discussion and to and forth, kind of refers to breaking through to coaching mastery, Claire. Is there an example of how one of the shifts in the book has nudged you right in the moment when you're with a client to kind of change the way you've dealt with something?
Yeah, so this week I was doing some team coaching, and actually it was really tough work, really, really hard work. And I needed to keep reminding myself to move out of being likable and into being challenging, and in doing so, enabling them to do their best work.
So what about any of the shifts that you've adopted yourself and embedded into your own work, Claire? Is there which ones would you highlight as being kind of intrinsic to what you do now?
almost all of them, but if I pick one of them, it would be moving away from working as quickly as you can, which comes out of our working world. You know, come on, get more done as fast as you can, efficiency is effectiveness, get to, you know, resolve the problems. So, you know, I really did learn that in the working world, work as quickly as you can. But moving away from that into getting to what matters most, and then being able to slow down to explore. So figuring out what is it that we are working on. And again, that came up this week, if I use the team coaching as an example, that they just wanted to talk about the task. And actually, there was something there about slowing down to explore the territory of the process of how they work together. And while that was really frustrating for them, not to be able to instantly jump into resolving the task stuff that needed to be worked on, actually what ended up happening was exploring that territory of the process and how they were working meant that when they then came back to the task, it was dead easy for them to get to some ideas and different ways of thinking and doing. So that would be one example, which, you know, I'm quoting here some examples of me in team coaching, but what I've learned is that everything, as I was reading through the book this morning, I was like, okay, so more or less all of these shifts work in one-to-one coaching and they work in team coaching as well. So for anybody here who is a team coach, there will be just as much for you here as for those people who do one-to-one coaching.
Brilliant. I guess it takes time to kind of integrate these mind shifts into your, you know, working life and your practice and all of that. I guess a lot of them are still a work in progress for you as well. I mean, I can't imagine you've mastered them all. So are there any in particular that you're working on, you know, really focusing on improving on at the moment?
Yeah, the one that I'm really on at the moment is about leaning into emotion. So that the shift itself is don't air your dirty laundry in public. That's the old mindset, which many of you will recognize that one. But moving to asking about, actually the shift is asking about mental health. But I'd say asking about emotions in general is really powerful. And some coaches are scared to go there because they believe that when we start talking about emotion, that means we're going into therapy. But emotions happen in the here and now just as much as they are created sometimes by, you know, they might be triggered by stuff from the past. That's the therapeutic work, the stuff that's triggered by the past. But the stuff that's in the here and now, we need to lean into that and go closer to that, what we might think of as the cliff edge, and not to think, oh, I have to take 4 steps back from the cliff edge because it's far too dangerous at the cliff edge. It's, we will know when it's time to point people to or signal that there might be a different a person who is better qualified to work with them. So for example, one person came to me for coaching a few weeks ago, and she just happened to just drop into the conversation. She was saying that she was really foggy and couldn't figure out her way forward. She dropped into the conversation. Oh, and then there's this menopausey thing as well. I'm like, okay, that's not just a drop in the conversation. Can we stop and talk about that for a moment and what you're going to do to resolve that? Because that's going to be getting in the way of you doing great thinking. It will be making you more foggy. So I wasn't afraid to lean into that conversation with her and triage that to help her to figure out about taking that to her doctor, for example.
Brilliant. You got a bit of love from people on that reply there,
Yeah.
which is nice. So with this book, what did you want to achieve? What's your kind of hope for your readers, both in their kind of coaching or supervision practice?
It really is that they focus on mindset first before skill set, that they don't jump to the next training course and the next training course and the next training course that's going to focus on skill set without first unpacking, what do I need to unlearn in order for some of these skills to be possible for me to bring into my coaching.
Yeah, and you say on the back that, you know, that you can't change what you do until you alter what you believe. So yeah, the beliefs has got to come first, right?
Yeah.
So this is your second proper book, big book, widely published book in 10 years, is it? I think.
Yeah, the last one came out only 2 years ago, so
right,
quite quick succession. First one was in lockdown.
Right. Yeah. So you must enjoy writing.
I do. I love writing.
So where does that come from? What was your experience of writing when you were younger?
So the first memory I have of writing was a Monday morning diary that we wrote in primary school, and I loved those. You know, writing about what I did at weekend, and we wrote them on these really long sheets of paper, and each one that we wrote, we stuck them up on the wall. So we put glue at the top of the piece of paper and stuck it on top of all of the ones that we'd done before. So we ended up walking away with a book of, I don't know how many weeks we have in the school year, but let's say it's about 35. So I had 35 stories. And that's my first memory of having a book. I hadn't realized it was a book until I was talking this out loud with Sue the other day. So that was great. But then when I was at secondary school, I had a bad experience. My English teacher decided I wasn't very good at writing at all and threw something back at me to rewrite, because the task was to write a descriptive essay about something, and I wrote something that was more diary-like than descriptive, and I ended up having to rewrite it. And as a result of that, I really did not think I was a very good writer.
No.
And it took, so I got back into writing when I started blogging at Accenture, and that really built my skills of writing and bringing out my voice and getting me confident in that voice, that people would actually read stuff because they were commenting all the time. So I have Priya Bonati to thank for that, who was our Accenture social media person, and she was really helping me to build my confidence in writing there. And Bob is a fellow writer as well, so we used to tag team, and so I built even more confidence. So that's kind of my story of writing.
Fantastic. And now you've got 2 books to your name, which is and maybe more. And
others.
Yes. Let's see. So what's your favorite book to read, Claire? What would be your desert island pick, do you think?
My desert island pick would be Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. And for those of you who read it, you'll understand why. It is very coach-like. It's all about encouraging children and adults to go here, there, and everywhere, explore, learn. You'll have knockbacks along the way, but get up and try again. So that would be the one that I would take to a desert island. There's lots of coaching books that I could take, but that would be the one I would pick out. And the desert island disc that I would pick would be I Hope You Dance, which the first line of that, I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. So
there you go. Fantastic choices. Well, listen, Claire, I wish you the best of luck with the book. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of difference to coaches, but also to people that need the help of coaches as well. So, as I say, it's been such a joy and pleasure working with you on this.
Thank you.